Do you dream about running UTMB in Chamonix? Have you always wanted to experience the incredible atmosphere of UTMB week in August? Well, here's how you can double your chances in the UTMB lottery. As I'm sure you're aware if you've followed this channel for any length of time, the way that you can qualify to run arguably the most iconic trail race in the world has changed over recent years. Gone are the days of rocking up to any old event that offers UTMB points, of which there were hundreds around the world. The points system was replaced by the Stones system soon after the pandemic. And then last year, UTMB premiered the World Series Finals for the first time in Chamonix. In order to qualify now for the World Series Finals events in Chamonix at the end of August, of which there are 3, UTMB, CCC and OCC, you need to run a UTMB branded event and earn stones. The problem is there aren't all that many around, with just 43 around the world. Just 2 in the UK currently, with the Ultra Trail Snowdonia in Wales and the Arc of Attrition down in Cornwall. There are 6 in the USA, 3 in South America, 3 in Oceania, and just 2 in the whole of Africa. So if you really want to run in Chamonix, the chances are you're going to have to travel. But even after that, you've spent hundreds on accommodation, flights and the race entry. The stones you earn from that race only give you the opportunity to enter the ballot. All 3 World Series Finals events are massively oversubscribed, and the chances are quite high that even after all that effort, you won't get drawn in the lottery. On the plus side though, if you don't get drawn, you don't lose your stones, you can accumulate them until you eventually are drawn in the ballot. And here's the thing, the more stones you earn, the greater your chance of getting in. 1 stone equals 1 entry into the lottery. So it stands to reason the more qualifying races you do, the greater your chance of success. It's also true that the longer the distance you do, the greater your chance of getting in. For a 20-kilometre qualifying race, you'll get 1 stone. For a 50k race, it's 2 stones. If you do a 100-kilometre race, it's 3 stones. And if you enter a race in the 100-mile qualifying category, you'll get 4 stones. Which brings me nicely on to the main subject of today's video, the UTMB World Series Majors. But before we do that, if you are enjoying this video, finding it useful or interesting, then please do hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel as well, would really appreciate that. And share this video with anyone you know who might be interested. Also, please do watch to the end of the video to make sure that you're fully informed of how you can double your chances in the UTMB lottery. UTMB's World Series Majors are an extra special set of events in the UTMB calendar, and until very recently there were only 3 in the entire world. What's so special about them? Well, if you're on the hunt for UTMB running stones, then the World Series Majors are the holy grail. Why? Because they will double your stones for every race finished. So 2 for a 20-kilometre event, 4 for 50k, 6 for 100k, and a whopping 8 stones if you finish a 100-mile UTMB World Major event. For the past few years, there have only been 3 around the world, 1 in the USA, 1 in Asia, and 1 in Europe. But as of this week, UTMB have announced a 4th major in Australia. All the UTMB World Series Major events are sponsored by Hoka, and the current 4 races are the Kodiak Ultra in California, Chiang Mai in Thailand, Val d'Aran in Spain, and the latest addition is Ultra Trail Australia in the Blue Mountains of New South Wales. Run any of the races offering stones at any of these events and you will get double the stones of any other World Series event, massively increasing your chances in the UTMB lottery. In addition, if you are a decent runner, you have the chance to qualify for a spot in Chamonix without even bothering with the lottery. There are 210 automatic qualification places up for grabs across all 4 UTMB World Series Major events. So if you are good enough to win your age group, you get automatic qualification to Chamonix. And if you come in the top 10 men or women, you will have an automatic spot at the World Series Finals in August out in France. But please don't think any of these races is going to be easy. It's not a walk in the park. They don't give out double stones for nothing. I ran the Val d'Aran 100-mile race in Spain in 2021, and let me tell you, it was and still remains the toughest race I've ever done. It took me 47 hours in some of the hottest running conditions I've ever experienced. On the plus side though, it was an experience I will never forget, and the scenery in the Pyrenees was absolutely stunning. One caveat it's important to mention here is that you can't just go and run a 20-kilometre World Series event, get your points and then hope to enter the ballot for the classic 100-mile race out in Chamonix. As well as earning your stones, you have to have what's called a performance index, which qualifies you to run a particular distance. So in order to qualify to run the big 100-mile race out in Chamonix, you would have to have run and completed a qualifying 100-mile category event. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you'd have had to have run a 100-mile race. My Trans-Gran Canaria race from 2022, for example, is a 100-mile qualifying event, despite the fact that it's only 126 kilometres, so that's worth looking out for. Do let me know your thoughts on this, by the way. Would you be prepared to travel the extra miles to get double points at a World Series Major event? How many points do you currently have? I don't have any at all, but we will be in Chamonix next year. I will probably do one of the events that doesn't require you to have any stones, probably something like ETC, although I would love to have another go at TDS one day. And that's another point worth mentioning. You can experience the incredible atmosphere of running a race during UTMB week by entering one of the races that doesn't require you to earn stones. For example, TDS, arguably a tougher race than the main UTMB 100-mile race, but it doesn't require you to have any stones in order to enter it. And then there's MCC, often reserved for volunteers and locals, but sometimes is offered to people who are unsuccessful in the ballot, so you might get a chance to run that. Then there's ETC, which my wife did last year. It's only 15 kilometres, but it's a great starter event, a great way to experience what UTMB is all about. Finally, if you want to miss out on the entire UTMB week festivities, you can enter PTL. Again, no stones required. However, it is 300 kilometres around the Swiss, French and Italian Alps. You start on Monday, probably finish sometime on Saturday. You do need a partner to run with as well, but that's another option for you if you don't have any stones. I hope that's been useful or interesting for you. Thank you very much for watching to the very end. Do please like, subscribe and share this video with your friends. Comment down below about your experience of UTMB and earning stones, and I will see you guys on the start line next time.